Hey guys, welcome to the help video for quiz 3.11. So there's really only one thing you need to know in this quiz. If a quadrilateral is inscribed in a circle, that means all of the vertices of the quadrilateral lie on top of the circle or on the circle. Then the opposite angles are supplementary, and supplementary just means they add up to 180. So here's a little color-coded thing for you. The opposite angles, B and D, they have to add up to 180. And the opposite angles, A and C, also have to add up to 180. So let's do some problems. It says, what is the measure of angle A? Well, if you notice, we do have a quadrilateral inscribed in a circle, so we know that the opposite angles have to add up to 180. So we can just take 180 and subtract 121 off of it to figure out the measure of angle A. So measure of angle A should be 59 degrees because 59 plus 121 equals 180. All right, so in this one, we still have opposite angles, so we know they're going to be supplementary. So we're going to go ahead and set up an equation. We're going to take angle A, which is 3x plus 6, and we're going to add angle C to it, which is x plus 2, and that should equal 180 degrees. Just like it says down here, A plus C has to equal 180. So then we just have an equation to solve. We have like terms on the same side. I'm going to go ahead and combine those. 3x's plus 1x is 4x. 6 plus 2 is 8. And then I need to finish solving for x. So to get rid of positive 8, I'm going to subtract 8 from each side. And then I'm going to divide each side by 4. And I get x equals 43. But I need to be really careful here and read the question every time. This question does not say solve for x. It says what is the measure of angle A? So we are not done yet. Don't put x as your answer. Let's go back and let's substitute it in for angle A to figure out the measure of angle A. So I'm going to use substitution. I'm going to plug in a 43 for x. And then I'm going to multiply it out. 3 times 43 plus 6 is 135 degrees. So that should be my answer here, 135 degrees. All right, we have another quadrilateral inscribed in a circle, so we know the opposite angles have to be supplementary. So angle D plus angle B has to equal 180. So I'm going to take angle D plus angle B and set them equal to 180. I guess I should write up here what I'm doing. All right, and then I can combine like terms and solve my equation. I have 1x plus 6x's, that's 7x. I'm just going to bring the plus 19 and the 180 straight down. Then I'm going to subtract 19 from each side to make that cancel. You can hear my typing. I get 161, and I'm going to divide by 7. And x equals 23. Again, let's read the question really carefully. It does not say solve for x. It says what is the measure of angle B? So we are not done until we substitute that back in for angle B. So I'm going to take and figure out the measure of angle B by using substitution. I'm going to put that 23 in where I see x. And then I'm going to multiply it out. I'm going to do 6 times 23 plus 19. And I got that the measure of angle B equals 157 degrees. So that should be our answer. All right, so we have another quadrilateral inscribed in a circle. Again, we know opposite angles are supplementary. So I only have one pair of opposite angles here. Notice if I look at angle A, I don't know C. So I don't want to set up that equation because I don't have a pair of opposite angles. But I do have opposite angles right here. Those are opposites. So I know that angle D plus angle B has to equal 180. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I know that doesn't necessarily solve our answer for us, but it's going to get us one step closer. So D plus B equals 180. This time it's a pretty simple equation to solve. So we're just going to take 180 and subtract off 28. So x equals 152. All right, now let's go back and see what the question says, because the question doesn't say solve for x. The question says, what is the measure of angle A? So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to substitute that in for angle A. So to get the measure of angle A, I'm going to plug in 152 for x, and then I'm going to subtract off 36. So I got that the measure of angle A equals 116 degrees. Now this problem kind of confuses people because they want to start off with angle A. But you can't start off with angle A because we don't know anything about its opposite angle. So we actually have to start with angle D and B to solve for x, and then we can substitute it back into angle A. So just be careful when you see a problem like that. All right, and then the last one. Again, we have a quadrilateral inscribed in a circle, and we want to know the measure of angle C. This is our ultimate goal. All right. Well, we need to look for opposite angles because that's the relationship we know. We know opposite angles are supplementary. So even though I'm looking for C, I'm not going to start off using C. I'm going to start off using the only pair of opposite angles that I have, which is D and B. So I know that D plus B, the angle D plus the angle B has to equal 180. So angle D plus angle B equals 180. And then I'm going to solve it for x. I'm going to combine my like terms. 1x plus 3x's is 4x. Just going to bring that plus 20 straight down. And then finish solving for x. So I'm going to subtract 20 from each side. And then divide by 4. And so I get x equals 40, but again, that's not my answer. The question did not 40. What am I doing? Yeah, sorry. So that's not our answer because the answer doesn't say solve for x. The answer says what is the measure of angle C. But now that we've figured out x, we can find C. We just have to go about it kind of a crazy way. So you can either plug in x for all of your angles and figure it out that way because they all have to add up to 360. Or we could go back and substitute it in for angle A. And I want you to think for a minute, how would figuring out angle A help us find angle C? Well, the reason it would help us is because we know A and C have to be supplementary. So they have to add up to 180. So let's do that. Let's figure out the measure of angle A by using substitution. So I'm going to plug that 40 in. So I'm going to do 2 times 40, which is 80 plus 38. Now I know the measure of angle A is 118 degrees. But again, that is not my answer because my answer is to figure out the measure of angle C. So now I actually have enough information to figure out the measure of angle C because A and C are supplementary. They have to add up to 180. So I know A plus C has to equal 180. I now know A is 118. And so I can simply subtract that from 180 to figure out the measure of angle C. Oops, I'm supposed to say 118. So I can take 180 minus 118, and that tells me that the measure of angle C has to equal 62 degrees. So that is our final answer. We had to kind of go a long ways around to get it, but we were able to finally get to that measure of angle C. All right, y'all, good luck on your quiz.